Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll get started here in a few moments, but in the meantime, please fill out our welcome poll if you'd like. We'd like to get to know you. You can also introduce yourself in the webinar chat if you'd like, no pressure. We're just interested in getting to know who's with us today, and we'll get started in just a few moments. We'll let folks log in. Thank you. Okay, in the interest of time, I'm going to go ahead and get started here. Thank you so much for participating in our webinar today. We're so thankful that you took time out of your day to get to know about the Penn State School of International Affairs. And also thank you for participating in our poll. But I'm going to go ahead and end the poll now. Great. Well, welcome everybody. Before we get started, I do have some housekeeping items that I want to tackle before we dive into the material today. First, I want to make it abundantly clear that we only offer a master's degree in international affairs. So if you're here hoping to learn about other graduate programs at Penn State, unfortunately, we're not going to be a great resource for you. You're welcome to stick around, but you're not going to get the information. You're not going to get any other information besides our master's degree in international affairs. So we do apologize for any inconvenience or information that went out there that suggested otherwise. So again, feel free to stick around, but you don't have to if that is your intention. Secondly, we want to hear from you in your questions. So we welcome you to put in the Q&A box your questions as we go along. We do ask that you use the Q&A box just because it's a lot easier for us to track and get through, and we can answer your questions live as we go. We will have time for Q&A at the very end. So if you want to wait to put your questions in until the very end, that's totally fine. It's up to you, but we do appreciate your engagement as we move along today. All right. Well, my name is Matt Dietrich. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions here at the Penn State School of International Affairs. My colleague Christy Percio is here as well. She is the Director of Admissions, and she will largely be in the chat today answering your questions as we move along. So again, feel free to put those in the Q&A box, and we'll have those answered for you in a timely manner. Awesome. So diving right into our PowerPoint here today. First, we're going to talk about Penn State and the School of International Affairs briefly. We're going to give you a snapshot of who we are, what we're about, and then kind of talk about the broader university and the access you have to a large Big Ten institution here in the United States. So some fast facts about SIA. We do offer a professional master's degree in international affairs. It is different, excuse me, than an academic degree, where in our program, we're really designed to help you get the skills that you need to get a job once you graduate. We're really interested on readying students for a career as opposed to academia and research and getting a PhD. Neither is right or wrong, good or bad. It really just depends on what you want to do after you earn your graduate degree. Um, and with that being said, we do have some students go on to get a PhD once they leave our program. And that is, that's an option as well. It's just not the majority of our students. So you really just have to determine if this is the type of program that suits you best for your career objectives. But we do have some students go to get PhDs post graduation as well. It's just the majority of our students go right into the workforce. We are a member of the Association of Professional Schools of International Affairs, or APSIA. So we are part of the recognized consortium of international affairs programs around the world, and we're really proud to be a part of that group. We offer an interdisciplinary, flexible, and customizable curriculum. So if you're interested in a degree that touches on a wide variety of topics in international affairs, cultures, economics, leadership, international law and institutions, and so many other topics that you can dive into here, then we may be a really good fit for you. And we'll talk a little bit about the customization and flexibility on the next slide. We also offer education abroad. So if you are interested in going abroad during the program, you can choose one of 25 or so locations to do that. In some spring semesters, including next semester, we do have professors that will lead embedded trips, during the spring break. Um, I can't think off the top of my head where the professor is going. I think somewhere in Africa next semester. But in any case, sometimes our faculty will offer this. You can do a traditional study abroad and engage or participate in one of these trips during the fall semester of your second year. You can do an internship abroad between your first and second year, or you can do a combination of the two. Sometimes students do that as well. Of course, if you are coming to the United States for the graduate degree, that is study abroad for you. But in any case, if your passport can take you to any of the countries we offer for education abroad, you can feel free to participate in that as well. We have great faculty here, former ambassadors, former diplomats of the U.S. State Department. We have ambassadors that aren't even U.S. citizens, so they are ambassadors from one country to another, which I think brings a really cool perspective to our program in looking at diplomacy through the lens of other countries that are not the United States. And I think that's really fascinating. We have renowned economists and national security experts, folks who have worked in the federal government of the United States and governments around the world, folks who are trained sociologists and experts in food and agriculture, et cetera, et cetera. Here at the School of International Affairs, we really pride ourselves on the support we offer our students. On the staff side of things, we have academic advising, career advising, and a student affairs person who are all available to you during your time in the program, up and through enrollment. And when you are here studying in person, Christy and I will help you through the admissions process, ensure that you have resources for finding housing and connect you with current students and all of the good stuff that takes place up through enrollment. And then we pass you off to our very capable colleagues here in advising in student affairs to help you through the graduate school process. So you never feel like you are alone in this journey. And of course, you have great classmates to help you through the grad school experience. And we have an over 90% career attainment rate within 1 year of graduation. It is at a 93.8% career attainment rate. We really pride ourselves on this number that we have successfully helped students find employment within 1 year at a very high rate consistently since the data has been collected starting in 2013. So moving on to talking about the curriculum here at SIA. Oh, and by the way, we do colloquially call our program SIA. So if you hear me say SIA, just know that I am referring to the School of International Affairs at Penn State University. And that's how we will move on from here. Great. So the core curriculum is going to include the courses that are listed here on the slide. Like I said, you'll touch on a wide variety of topics like economics, international relations theory and diplomacy, some international law, as well as data analysis, research design, uh, statistics from a social sciences lens, and others. But then you get to choose one of 12 concentrations, branch out from the core curriculum and choose one of 12 concentrations where your electives will form this concentration. You can also create your own if you so choose. Over 50% of students actually choose to create their own concentration. But we have concentrations ranging from development policy to African development, data analytics, security studies, humanitarian response and human rights, and so many more. All of these are found on our website, so feel free to go to sia.psu.edu, go to the academics tab, and you can see the core curriculum and concentrations, as well as the courses that meet those concentrations there. When you're taking your electives and forming your concentration, there will be some limited opportunity for you to take electives in many top Penn State graduate programs. Although you will take a majority of your coursework in international affairs, there will be some opportunities for you to dip into business or economics or history, political science to really round out your studies here at Penn State. You can start or perfect a foreign language. Of course, in order to attend Penn State, you need to be proficient in English, no matter where you're from, and that will mean that you're eligible for at least eligible for admission here to SIA. But if you want to take a language other than English, you can definitely do so here. We do have a proficiency requirement in such a way that you need to be intermediate proficient in a language other than English in order to graduate. This is really only true for our students from the United States because many international students speak many different languages. So if English is your only language, however, you will need to meet the intermediate proficiency of whatever language you decide to take. They can be Russian, Arabic, Mandarin, Spanish, French, German, and there are a lot of other languages here at the university, like Korean or Japanese, for example. Every student is required to complete a master's paper or an internship. Given the professional orientation of our program, most students are doing the internship, and this is typically completed between the first and the second year in the summer. Again, you can do one of these education abroad experiences to complete that or find your own internship. But we have a ton of support from our career services office to help you navigate this interview prep, cover letter, resume writing, etc. If you are interested in going on to get a PhD or you have a ton of internship experience and you want to do research, then the master's paper is probably the way you will go. So why consider coming to Penn State? Well, Penn State is a top 100 global university according to U.S. News and World Report, as well as topuniversities.com or QS. Penn State does have the largest alumni association globally, with 175,000 plus dues paying members of the Penn State Alumni Association, and over it's as actually right now 800,000. So I need to update this number, but 800,000 plus alumni worldwide. The reason why this is important is because it's not always about what you know, but it is oftentimes about who you know. The Penn State name carries a lot of weight around the world, and Penn Staters are hiring managers. Penn State is constantly ranked as a top university for producing CEOs around the world, and so Penn Staters, have a lot of power and leeway here in the world, and so when you are applying for positions, you may come across a Penn Stater that is the hiring manager. You may meet just Penn Staters randomly throughout the world in your journeys and travels. And building a network can be made easy by just saying, hey, I went to Penn State. So, some more statistics about the university is that we're a top university for international student enrollment. Here at the University Park campus of the Penn State system, there are 9,000 plus international students, and we're a top 25 U.S. Institution for International Student Enrollment. So if you are an international student here on the webinar, you can definitely be rest assured that when you decide to come to Penn State, you will be amongst people that are like-minded, maybe from the same country or region, and you can find a home here. Penn State is a global community and it is centrally located. You can see from our map that we are uniquely situated between four major cities, one of those being an international city in Canada. But we do take our students to DC and New York based on proximity and the fact that our alumni end up living and working in New York and DC at a higher rate than some other cities around the world. DC is the most thriving landing spot for our alums, not just at Penn State broadly speaking, but from SIA specifically. So we do take our students to DC, New York on career development trips or professional development trips to meet with employers, meet with alumni and network, find jobs and internships, but also get to know, what it's like to apply to some of these employers in the international affairs space. So why consider SIA? Well, you get full access to this excellent university that I just got done describing with all of the opportunities that are available to you, clubs and organizations, speakers and talks, lectures, guest lectures that you can attend, and so many more. Here at SIA, you get support from every angle. As I described earlier, every student will be matched with an academic advisor, career advisor, and a faculty mentor, all who are available to help you walk through the graduate school experience, academic advising to ensure that you're on time to graduate in large part, career advising to help with resumes, cover letters, looking for jobs and internships, and developing you as a future professional in international affairs. And then a faculty mentor, someone that you can share ideas with and discuss preparing for the real world and maybe engaging in research if that's available and other things as well. We also have a peer and alumni mentorship program. The peer mentorship program is to help you navigate getting to graduate school. So in that interim period between being admitted and enrolling here at the university, we will match you up with a second year student who is an SIA student and has similar profile as you to help you navigate, and get ingrained with SIA, the local community of State College, and Penn State broadly speaking. But we also have an alumni mentorship program for current students where we will match you with a current alum of SIA who can help with, understanding what the real world is like post SIA, post graduation, help you network, maybe meet some of their colleagues. And this is a really substantial part of the program as well. Again, we offer education abroad, which I talked about in detail earlier. You get great networking through the Alumni Association and our career trips. Here at SIA, we have a tight-knit, diverse, and global community. You heard me talk about earlier just the global community that is at the university, and I think we're a microcosm of that. Here at SIA, over 50% of our students are international students, and we have our domestic students are from all walks of life, from all over the United States with a variety of race, ethnicity, ideas, and so many other facets that make our program really awesome. Even our faculty and our staff are diverse in a plethora of ways, and we really care about community. Our director is very keen on building community within the program through international affairs discussions, which are extracurricular talks about what is happening in the world, and other activities that we do throughout the academic year to build that community. And again, our great career services, which I've talked at length about. All right. So now we want to talk a little bit about the application requirements and how to apply. If you've tuned me out up until this point, let's tune back in and let's talk about how to craft a really good application, what you need to look for in the application to make yourself stand out, deadlines, etc. Now, we're not going to deep dive into the application today. We are just going to kind of go through the eligibility requirements and what you need to do at the time of application. We'll talk a little bit about scholarships as well. But later on this semester, we will have a few best practices in applying to graduate school, which we highly recommend that you attend, because we will dissect the application and really just give you golden nuggets on how to apply to our program and really stand out in the application process. All right. So the first step is to consider our deadlines. The most important deadline to be considered for admission and merit-based scholarships to our program is December 31st of 2025. So you want to start working on your application now and have that submitted as soon as you can, but before December 31st. In order to be considered for merit-based scholarships, you do need an entirely completed application. This includes letters of recommendation and all of the essay questions that we have on our application, your resume, CV. Some of this stuff I'll go over in the next slide. But this also includes copy of official transcripts and any degree certificates that are necessary for you to make it through the admissions process. But right now, December 31st is the deadline to be considered for merit-based scholarships and admission. The absolute final deadline will be February 15th of 2026. If you apply by this date and after December 31st, you greatly reduce your chance of being considered for merit-based scholarships. At this point, it will just be dependent upon budget. If we have any scholarships to award at this point, we'll still consider you for admission, but you really put yourself at a disadvantage for being considered for scholarships. So please apply no later than December 31st. If you apply after February 15th, we'll still consider you for admission, but it's not guaranteed, and it's really just based on enrollment, seat availability. And at this point, all scholarships will have been awarded, so you won't be considered. So please apply no later than December 31st. That is your best bet. So how to apply? I always like to say there are no tricks here. We're fully transparent about what you need on the application. There's no like hidden agenda as far as what we're looking for. You know, we're very forthright about what is required for a really good application. All of it is found on our website, but I'm going to quickly go through here what you need to successfully put together a great application. So first, go on our website. Like I said, no tricks. It's all on our website. So if you miss what I say here, you can just go to our website and see all the info there. You are required at the time of application to submit a current resume or CV, a copy of your official transcripts. Please don't upload semester reports or advising transcripts or grade reports. We do need an official university. It can be a copy, which in some cases is called unofficial transcripts, but we just need a copy of the official transcripts. Upload it to your application for all education that you have engaged in post high school or primary schooling. So any college, associate's degrees, community college, university that you've attended, we need to know that. So please include that on your application. We do need a statement of purpose. On our website, you will see 2 prompts. You can choose or select one prompt and stick with that. The statement of purpose is 500 to 750 words, kind of like a cover letter. This is probably the most important part of the application, so ensure that you are taking good quality time on this, really thinking through your motivation, why you want to attend Penn State, and what you want to do with this degree post-graduation. We really want to see, the admissions committee just generally really wants to see your motivation for attending not just a Master of International Affairs program, but why Penn State, and how do you see Penn State fitting into your overall career objectives? So keep that in mind. Are there classes here at Penn State that you want to take, concentrations that you want to focus on? Are there faculty members here at Penn State that you are particularly interested in getting to know in the classes you want to take from them. These are all important details to include in the statement of purpose. We do need the contact information for two recommenders. We do recommend, not to be redundant, but it is our recommendation that you ask at least one faculty member or professor from your undergraduate degree to write a letter of recommendation. I do think it is preferable that you have two professors write you a letter of recommendation, but at the very least one. Now, we know some of you may have been graduated for a few years and maybe have lost contact with your faculty members at your university. So you can ask an internship supervisor or a trusted colleague or supervisor from a professional experience that is aligned with our program to write you a letter of recommendation, and that is totally fine as well. And if you have questions about that, feel free to put those in the Q&A box, and we can answer those as we go. We do need the completion of program-specific questions. Please don't skip these. At the end of the application, you will see supplemental essay questions, and we do need you to answer these questions thoroughly and with honesty and integrity. That is all very important because these will be factored into whether or not we admit you and consider you for scholarships. International students, we do need proof of English proficiency via IELTS or TOEFL. If you do submit IELTS, the minimum band score is 6.5. For TOEFL, the minimum overall score on the internet-based test is an 80. And on the speaking section, you need a 19. There are no waivers for English proficiency. You must submit if you are not from the United States or you did not earn a degree in a predominantly English speaking country, you must submit official TOEFL or IELTS exam scores. We can't waive anyone of this unless you are predetermined by Penn State to be automatically eligible for a waiver. That is listed on our website. So on our website, when you go to that link that I've provided here on the screen, and you go down to the country eligibility page, which is, if you scroll down on the screen, the country eligibility page will let you know if citizens or degree earners from your country need to submit IELTS or TOEFL. So please keep that in mind. This is super important. You know, for example, Ghanaians or Nigerians are automatically exempt, and there are other countries around the world that are automatically exempt, but this is a very important consideration, and we can't waive it for anybody. All right. Your conferred degree must also be comparable to a U.S. four-year bachelor's degree. This is extremely important as well. For Europeans, for example, if you don't have 240 ECTS credits, you do not have the equivalent of a U.S. four-year bachelor's degree. And just another kind of prominent example is if you have a degree from India, and there are probably other countries in these similar boats, but we're just pulling out the prominent examples. If you have a degree from India, sometimes those degrees are only 3 years. In both cases, European, Indian, or any other comparable country, if you don't have what is considered a four-year bachelor's degree, you will need to add on a one-year postgraduate diploma, additional ECTS credits some other way, one-year master's degree in order to meet that four-year threshold to be considered eligible for admission to the Penn State Graduate School. Moving on to scholarships. So if you put together a really good application by December 31st and it is completed in its entirety, including letters of recommendation, you will be considered for merit-based scholarships. 100% of admitted students for fall 2025 that were eligible for scholarship did receive some form of scholarship. And we're really proud to say that we have the ability to give some form of merit-based scholarships to every single student that came to our program who was eligible for it. Our scholarships are limited, they are not guaranteed, and they are based entirely on the quality of your application. We do not do any need-based financial aid. It is all merit-based scholarships. Scholarships are limited in the fact that they do not cover the entirety of tuition. We do not have any full tuition scholarships, but for our top applicants, you might see a discount of about 60% of the overall tuition. The average scholarship is roughly 40 to 50% of tuition, and on the very low end, anywhere between 15 to 30% of tuition. Again, dependent upon the quality of your application. We therefore recommend that you just do really well with your statement of purpose, and ensure that your resume and CV are fully up to date and answer the program specific questions really well. International students, you can use the scholarship towards your financial guarantee. If you're unaware of what I mean by this, every university will ask international students to provide proof of funds of a full year's worth of tuition and living expenses in order for you to receive the I-20, and the I-20 is required for the visa interview. So if you do earn a scholarship from our program, again, not guaranteed, but if you earn a scholarship from our program, you can use that towards the financial guarantee. So that's less money you have to prove of personal funds, which will then allow you to get your I-20 as well for the visa interview. So please note that as well. There are no fully funded scholarships available. Like I said earlier, we do ask that all students seek external means of funding through loans, scholarships, grants, personal funds if you can, in order to finance the remainder of tuition after the scholarship is applied, and for any living expenses, of course, that you would need for the duration of the program. We do not offer graduate assistant or teaching assistant positions within the School of International Affairs, although sometimes these may be available at the Grander University. You do need to be a current student in order to be able to get any of these GA or TA positions. Therefore, just remove it from your mind that a GA or TA position is available. You will have to rely on any merit-based scholarship that you receive from us, as well as personal funds or outside scholarships, loans, grants, and get to the university and then begin looking for any GA or TA positions at the university if they are available. And that is the end of our presentation today. I know it was short, but what we want to do is answer your questions. So I know that there were a few that popped up in the Q&A box that Christy has answered, and I'll look through to see if there are any questions for the good of the group. But go ahead and think of some questions as I wrap up here. Put those in the Q&A box. We're happy to answer any and all questions that you have about our Master of International Affairs degree, about student programming, coursework, the admissions process. We're the experts on the admissions process, so we don't know everything, but we are good with the admissions process. And lastly, what we want to ask you to do is feel free to scan any of our QR codes. The Connect QR code will take you to a page where you can schedule a one-on-one meeting with Christy and/or myself. You can find future webinars, including our best practices in applying webinar. Our apply QR code will take you right to our application page where you can see all of the eligibility requirements and documents that must be uploaded at the time of application. And with that, we'd love to answer your questions. So I'm going to quiet myself for a moment and allow you to ask those questions. If you have to leave, I bid you adieu. Thank you so very much for joining us today. We really appreciate it and hope to see an application from you very soon. But are there any questions? We did receive a great question earlier, uh, which for the good of the group, I can ask and answer. But someone asked, since there are many different campuses, is there a recommended campus to enroll with that would best suit the program. Christy did answer it, but I just want to make sure when everyone is applying to our program, we are only at the University Park campus. Yes, Penn State has about 23 or 24 different campuses throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Make sure you are applying to the University Park location. That is where we reside. So if you, I don't even think you can, but if you apply to the Erie campus, hoping that you can take our program, you'll be very sadly mistaken once you arrive to Erie, Pennsylvania, because we won't be there. Great. Well, oh, okay. Question comes in. Thank you so much for the insightful webinar. Hey, thank you for being here. Can you please elaborate on the fee structure for Penn State SIA program? Sure. So I can give you kind of basic guidelines on the fees, but what I recommend that you do is that you go online. And if you give me just a moment here, I can grab a tuition calculator. And I'm going to put this in the webinar chat for everyone to see. So go ahead. And what you can do is use this. You can use this link or this tuition calculator, put in all the information, whether you are a Pennsylvania resident, a non-Pennsylvania resident, an international student at University Park for the International Affairs program, master's degree, of course. And what I recommend that you do is you put in 12 credits per semester. And what you will see is that for non-Pennsylvania residents, the tuition with fees will be around $46,000 for this current academic year. Now, for fall 2026, we don't know what the tuition is going to be like quite yet, but that information will be released in July of 2026. That's typically when the Board of Trustees updates the tuition for the upcoming academic year. You should anticipate an approximate 3% increase. That has kind of that's the typical increase. It could be more, it could be less, it could be a tuition freeze, but I would just already say, okay, this will probably be about a 3% increase. And then you'll see living expenses as well that are included in there. That is non-billable expenses, which are really up to you. It depends on how you live, if you travel a lot, if you go out to eat a lot, those types of things. But the billable expenses, aka tuition, will be around $46,000 per year for non-Pennsylvania residents. For the Pennsylvania residents, it's roughly half of that at 12 credits per semester. The typical course load for our students is around 12 credits per semester, which is four classes. Okay. Sorry for asking this question at the last minute. Totally okay. We're here. If you don't want to stick around, you can leave, but we appreciate your participation. If I am an international student in Japan, do I need to convert my GPA to WES? So in fact, we do not need, Penn State will not accept, is how I should say it, WES or a World Education Services transcript. You need, and I don't know what it is off the top of my head for Japanese students, but you likely need to submit the English version of your transcript. Hopefully you have that as well as the degree certificates at the time of application. You may need to also upload the Japanese version of your transcripts at the time of application, but I'm not quite sure, and I can't really take the time to look through without awkwardly sitting here looking for that. So maybe Christy is able to find it and put that in there for you. But yeah, don't submit WES transcripts because Penn State does their own evaluation. Hopefully that helps. Awesome. Are there any other questions that we can help with? If not, it's okay. Oh, another one comes in. With taking about 4 classes or 12 credits per semester, are students also able to have internships instead of having one between the first and second year? Given the geographic location of where we are, the internships are kind of limited. There's a few ways to answer this question, by the way. The internships are a bit limited, right? just because of where we're located. There are some internships on campus or in the local community that may fit your overall career trajectory, but most of the time, I would say almost all of our students um, don't do an internship during the academic year. One, because of availability, but two, because our classes are really between the hours, like normal business hours, between the hours of like 9 and 5 p.m. So there's just not a lot of opportunity to, take time away during the day to go to your internship when a lot of internships would be taking place. Depending on your residency, if you're from the US or not, um, you may be able to find remote internships to participate in. Some will require you to be a US citizen, like I'm thinking the virtual foreign service through the United States Department of State. But you may also find remote internships otherwise, which you could totally do as well. The typical, and due to the pedagogy of our program, the typical trajectory is for a student to do the internship in the summer because there's nothing else you would do at that time, but also we want you to take our core classes and then take that knowledge and understanding and those skills into the internship. So those are some of the reasons why we have that as our typical course plan. All right. Any other questions? If a transcript is not in English, do we submit the original and English translation? It depends on where you're from. You will always need to submit the English transcript. But depending on the country from which you've earned your degree, you may also need to upload the original. Always English, right? Because our people that are evaluating them only read in English. But dependent upon the country you're from, you might need to submit the original as well, which that information's on our website. So look up the country you've earned your degree, I don't know, France, and ask or look to see what it tells you as far as what you need to upload. Great. Any other questions before we depart? These have been good questions. We really appreciate it. And if you think of a question afterwards and you want to email us, please email us at admissions@sia.psu.edu, which is in the webinar chat. Christy and I are available to help you. Please also feel free to book a meeting with us. We're happy to get to know you individually and answer your individual questions, get to know you a little bit better. We enjoy doing that, so please feel free to book a meeting with us. And with that, we're just going to go ahead and stop for today. Thank you again for taking the time out to get to know SIA. We hope to see an application come from you. Best of luck in your graduate school search, and hopefully you're a student with us in about a year from now. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.